Hello there, my name is Brittany. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be reading The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune.
It's Brittany, bitch.
This book is absolutely everywhere. Everyone and their mom loves this book. I have not seen one bad review. I have not heard one bad review. Not one. And I'm not going looking for one on Goodreads. I'm just going to try to lower my expectations. But I'm expecting this to at least be a good 4 or 5 star. It may not be a 5 star, but at least a 4 star is fantastic. Even a 3 star is great, but a 4 star would be even better. If you don't know what this book is about, you've probably been living under a rock, but let me sum it up for you. In The House in the Cerulean Sea, we are following Linus Baker, who works for a government agency. It's Linus's job to go to all the different orphanages and make sure that the children are being taken care of and they're not hurting anyone else, or if there's like a report of something bad happening between magical children, he goes and checks it out, makes a report on it, and reports back to the government. And that's his job, and he gets sent out on this job, essentially, for a whole month to go out to this orphanage on an island. These children are deemed extra dangerous, and even one of them is the Antichrist. And it just seems like a really interesting story, and everyone loves it, and I'm very excited to get started into this and see how it actually is, because it could have a great premise, but I may not like the writing. We'll see. So far, I'm barely into it, and so far it seems fine. It hasn't really gone anywhere. Linus is just at his government job, and that's all we really have so far. So I'll give you more of an update probably when I'm at like at least 100 something pages, and I'll give you an update and see where we are then. Okay, so now I'm gonna go pick up a pizza for lunch, which I literally never do, but like for some reason I'm really craving pizza. So I'm gonna go pick up a pizza that I just ordered. It took 20 minutes and I should be there in like 5 minutes. So I hope it's good. I'll show you some pictures, but I got the Supreme and then I took off the ham, the beef, and the pepperoni. I really don't like a lot of meat, but I do like the sausage, so I kept the sausage and then just added extra onions and bell pepper. So I hope it's good. I got the small, I don't know, I'm really craving it, so I'm really praying it's good because this is my lunch and I'm starving and it is like an hour and a half after I usually eat, so. Kalinka smells the pizza. Isn't that right, Kalinka? The minute I opened the box, she jumped right up. Really down. Not your pizza. No, it's not your pizza. That's Mommy's pizza. It looks actually really good. Mmm. There you go. How's the pizza? You can hear how crunchy it is. Was it good? Oh, yep, going back for crumbs. Kalinka, I think, votes for yes. So I know that this is the world's worst angle, but today I'm making Spanish Gazpacho for dinner. And I've never had before, ever, not in a restaurant, not at home. And I literally spent 3 hours one day looking at recipes, even watching some YouTube videos in Spanish to find as authentic a recipe as possible. And we're just gonna go for it. Whether it's authentic or not is up to the Spaniards who disagree within themselves. So I'm just gonna get started. I have an English cucumber. I couldn't find a regular cucumber. I'm not sure if this matters, but whatever. And then I have garlic. I had a white onion, red bell pepper, green bell pepper, fresh tomatoes, and okay, I have my leftover wine from last night for emotional support after a really long day at work, and bread, which is weird, right? But apparently you soak the bread in water and then you grind it up. So let's get started on the bread first then. I'm also gonna make croutons out of this and put them in the oven. So, how much bread? I'm going with that, that's my decision. That's it, choices. Okay, let's soak this bitch. Douse you up, you'll soak it up, babe. You'll soak it up, you're fine. You're fine. The problem is too, is I only have this to blend, so I'm gonna have to use this multiple times. So, they say to leave part of, usually like the bell peppers, and the onions and some of the cucumber as well for topping. So I'm gonna do a little bit of that. Okay, time for the cucumber. Let's do some onion. Are you gonna have any raw onion on your soup?
Oh. Oh my god, who do you think I am?
That's why I put it in its own separate bowl for you, dear. Here, it's supposed to be like 3/4 of a cup of olive oil, but I'm just gonna try to use a little bit. So we're also gonna have multiple batches, so. Oh, it smells good.
What?
That fucking needs salt so bad. Let's add some of this soggy ass bread. Oh my god, I hate the texture of soggy bread.
Oh.
Oh! Oh, that's not okay. It's nasty. It literally just smells like vegetables. It smells like a fucking garden. There it is. I'm so fucking scared for dinner. If we hate it, we need to have a backup plan. So I definitely forgot to add vinegar until towards the end, but the gazpacho actually wasn't too bad, but yeah, it wasn't our favorite thing in the world, I'm not gonna lie. It was interesting. And then here is day 2, and we're having a smoothie bowl for breakfast, which was honestly really good, and I've never actually had a smoothie bowl, like, ever in any sort of shape or form, and it was amazing. Here is my leftover pizza I'm having for lunch. We're almost there, y'all. And then for dinner, we had some IKEA meatballs. So it is the next day after yesterday. And for some reason, like the video I made yesterday, like totally corrupted and like the light was weird, the sound was weird. So I just threw it out because there's no point in even me using it and trying to doctor it up, which was not gonna work. So, at this point, I'm on page 216 of The House on the Cerulean Sea, and I was really expecting to be actually a lot farther in this book, but I don't know, it's kind of like slow, and I kind of, not that I don't care, is that I can put the book down very easily. I feel like some books I don't want to put down, you know, I have to know what's going to happen next. And this book doesn't have any of that anticipation for me, and it's very easy to put down and pick back up. You can fall right back into what you were doing, but it's not like I can't put it down. I'm not thinking about it every 5 minutes, and so that automatically kind of drops it from like a 5 to a 4 for me. So I think this is probably a good 4-star at the moment. I think it's really sweet and really funny, and I really love some of the characters in here. Like the kids in this book are the cutest things I've ever seen. I'm literally obsessed with Chauncey. He's like this like green goo jellyfish who wants to be a bellhop. I'm like obsessed with him. He's like the cutest freaking thing, and all he wants to do is help people and wait on people and be a bellhop in a big hotel, and it just breaks my heart. He's just so sweet. And Lucy is the Antichrist, and he like is always like fighting like his inner demon to be like bad, but he almost just comes across as more like funny and sarcastic because he'll say like terrible, morbid, disgusting things about like cannibals ripping your face off, and he like smiles at you. He just seems like such a fun little 6-year-old, and I just really love him as a character too. I know a lot of people like him as well, but the other kids are also so lovable. We have a garden gnome who's a female, and she has like this giant beard, and we have Fee, who's like a forest sprite, as far as I remember, and we have like this little like dragon. He's like a dragon. He's like the size of a cat, but he's so freaking cute. He like takes buttons and coins for his hoard. So the kids in this are just, they're so cute. Like I cannot express to you how precious these children are. But in terms of like me caring about this, like the plot line, I feel like the plot is pretty weak at this point. We know that Linus is there to investigate the orphanage, and he's there for like a month. So I know it's kind of a long period of time to track, but I'm not really feeling any anxiety or anything. Like I have to keep reading. I think that's also a good thing, because I know a lot of people don't like that in books, where you like feel like you have to keep reading to know what's going on, because sometimes it gives you more anxiety than like anticipation, right? But this is definitely kind of a slow burn, sweet, I don't know, it's just like a fiction. I don't even know what to categorize it as, like magical fiction. It gives me almost like the series of unfortunate events vibes, but like nothing really bad happens. Well, as of yet. I know a lot of the villagers don't like the kids, and it's so sad, like the prejudice still exists. Like if there was a world where people could like grow trees out of the fucking earth, like I would be so happy to invite these people in my home and be like, can you grow a tree in my yard? Like, why won't we use those people to like grow forests, and why couldn't we appreciate this cute little dragon for who it is? And you know, I just don't understand like why prejudice has to exist, period, in our world. But especially like when you see like they're little kids, like they're kids, dude. Why can you be such an asshole to a little kid? I don't know, it really hurts. And that part, I think the book is doing really well, and I really appreciate that. But it's also just like hard to read. Like, I hate hearing about little kids not being wanted in general. Like, an orphanage is just really hard to like, you know, like their parents didn't want them or what. It's just sad. And then the whole village like hates them because they're different. That's just extra sad. So I want to protect these kids with my fucking life. But I'm not like too fond of Linus as a character. He's fine. I can tell he's just like a really uptight white collar worker his entire life, and now he's realizing that like a lot of the rules and regulations he's followed are kind of dumb and not written by people who actually want to protect the magical youth that they are supposed to be protecting. And I think that's also a really great show of the corporate world. So now we're gonna go pick up some food for dinner, and I'm also gonna pick up from some dessert, because I like to pick up, like, I hate having to go out like a second time to get food if I know I want something out. So we're gonna go to Baskin Robbins and then place our order for our favorite Asian fusion restaurant, and bring it back and eat it here, and then go to sleep and pass out and wake up tomorrow. And it's Saturday, so I love the weekends, and we have our entire shopping list planned out already, so it feels pretty good. Everything feels nice, and I'm just so happy to not be at work right now. After work on Fridays, literally feels like my soul can come back to life. Anywho, let's chat later. We finally got our weekend Popeyes in. It was delicious as usual, but again, they were out of strawberry lemonade. So I finally finished The House in the Cerulean Sea, and I think I'm gonna give this like 3.75 stars. I mean, here's the problem. I think I really set myself up for this being like a 5-star, and it just fell by the wayside a little bit. This was definitely a little bit disappointing because it just read almost like a children's novel. Like, it just did not feel like this was adult fiction. Even if this was like YA, I would have been like more believable or something. This definitely did not read like an adult fiction, like, to be quite honest. It really didn't. And it was too saccharine sweet. Like, I need a little bit more depth in my stories, and it was really lacking depth. I just feel like everything was too on the nose. Like, everything was too on the nose, and I require a little bit more nuance in my books. And I think that's something this book helped me discover. I think I've kind of always known, but especially in some books, it's so blatant that it's easy for me to put my fingers on. And it was just too saccharine sweet. There was no, I didn't get to think for myself. This book basically just told me what to think. And so it was definitely, you know, relevant and important. And if you actually look at like what inspired this book, yeah, interesting. So I really don't know how to feel about it. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.75. I feel like it's still a really good book, but it was just way too sweet for me. And I just really didn't care about the romance at all between the two men that get together at the end, which is wonderful. But I never really felt their romance. I honestly felt like Arthur just made like really weird comments. So Arthur is like the guy who runs the orphanage, and he would just like make overly saccharine sweet comments to Linus like, oh my God, you're so amazing, you don't even know. If someone said that to me, like every time I talk to them, I wouldn't talk to them anymore. That's just really weird and awkward. Like, I think if you're having a moment and you say it once in the book and you're like, wow, you're really special, don't forget that, and you like walk away or something, that's a moment. But I feel like every single time they talk, like, I think the author really tried to put depth and character development into every freaking conversation, and just ended up feeling repetitive and boring, and just the dialogue didn't fit half the time. But on the other hand, like, a lot of the children's dialogue was so funny, and they had a lot of character, but some of the kids didn't. You know, Chauncey, Lucy, and Talia each had their own distinct personalities, and then I feel like the other children just didn't like have as much of a personality. I mean, Theodore was like a cute little like dragon thing, and Sal he could turn into like a dog. I just feel like, of course the characters are gonna stick out more than the other, but I just feel like this could have been a 5-star, but it was just too sweet. Yeah, this book didn't surprise me like in the slightest, and not that I was wanting like a whole bunch of surprise, and it was really sweet, but it's also like pretty forgettable, and it sounds really terrible, and I definitely will remember, you know, Chauncey especially, you know, or Lucy or Talia, but even like Linus and Arthur, who were like the main male characters, who were like the adults, like they're very forgettable. I'm sorry, and just like, it was so good versus evil. I just really had a hard time with that. I need a little bit more morally gray. Like, you don't always need to be black or white, good or evil. And like every character in this book was good or evil, period. I felt like a kid's book. I feel like this was like a cautionary tale of acceptance or something.
So I'm also kind of disappointed. Like there's a part of me that wants to rate it even lower, which sounds terrible. But like, I just feel like I read this book and I already like don't care. Like, I just don't care in the slightest about anything in this happened in this book. Like, honestly, I don't. And that sounds terrible because I feel bad for like these sweet kids, but like, I mean, part of the ending was cute, but it was just, it's too sweet. Like, I don't know. I need a little more depth. I need more nuance. I need deeper, bigger stories. Like, I needed more, and I just didn't get that from this book. I am terribly saddened that I did not absolutely 5-star love this book. And I think the problem with that too is sometimes you get your expectations so high that I feel like it's hard to accomplish those things, but other times I set my sights high and they are achieved. I think this book is just not my favorite book in the world. It's not gonna go in any favorites piles. I think it was a lovely LGBT read. I think it's all about acceptance, and I think that's a really beautiful story. And if you're looking for something really kind and sweet, and something that's not gonna give you anxiety, something that's gonna be a nice warm hug, then that's really what you're gonna want, then I would definitely recommend this. But if you're looking for stories with depth and grit and integrity, I just don't feel like this is that story for you. There's not enough character growth that is not pushed in your face constantly. You know, if you like adult books, I don't know if you like this. I feel like this definitely read to me almost like a middle grade. Like, I've read middle grade with way more conflict in it than this book. And that to me says something. So that is my review of A House in the Cerulean Sea. And I'm glad I finally read it, but I'm honestly pretty disappointed after like how much I built it up and how much everyone loved it. You know, I definitely felt the love at some points, but I guess it was worth it, but I still feel pretty disappointed in the execution of what I was expecting. I expected something a little bit deeper than a shallow pond. I feel like I'm being rude here. I need to stop. Okay, like, subscribe, join the tribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.